Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time, but here is a quick tutorial on how to achieve this beautiful ombre look. I did these on my sister for her birthday, and as always, I'm gonna go ahead and push back her cuticles if they have any, and then go ahead and take them off. Nip them very carefully. Usually I don't do this till after, but I'm starting to do it before just so I can have more space to work on. Just be very gentle when cutting the cuticle. And I am speeding these up, so you know this is not how fast I do it. And then I am removing the natural nail shine with my fine grit sanding band. And as always, just keep going in one direction. I'm gluing these natural nail tips on her. I usually do forms on her, but when it comes to ombre, I like to do it on tips only because then I feel like it's not as thick. When it comes to forms, I feel like I'm adding a little bit more acrylic, but tips or forms work. It is the same method. And I will put everything in the description below. Make sure that when you apply the tips that they fit from sidewall to sidewall. Don't make them a little wider, just because when it comes to putting acrylic, then you're gonna make it even thicker and wider from the nail bed, and it's not cute. It's harder for you to file and all that stuff, so might as well just do it since the beginning. And I'm going to be using the extra white from Young Nails, and that's what I use usually for the ombre. And I'm using Cover Peach. I love that Cover Peach for ombres. It just blends so well. I did dehydrate the nail with pH Bond by Gelish, and then also with Protein Bond twice. You can also cure the Protein Bond so it can become stickier. That's your preference. I normally don't, but if you would like to, then you could. So I am applying a very thin coat of clear acrylic, reason being I don't want the nail to stain. Of course, it's an ombre, so it probably won't stain, but it's just a habit of me. And I also like it because sometimes it tends to lift less when I apply the clear coat. When I don't, then it's just probably gonna lift a little bit. I don't know if it's just me, but that's my preference. And I'm just literally, it's very thin. It's not even a lot. It may look like I'm applying a big bead, but it's not. You should also do this when it comes to glitters or any type of color acrylic, because they could stain the nail if you don't apply anything as a base. So I didn't record this, unfortunately. It was out of frame and I didn't put it in here, but I did went ahead and add white and let that dry. After I do all 10 nails, and it should be fine already, but just let it sit for a little bit so the acrylic won't move when you're applying the peach. And then I'm grabbing a bead. Usually I apply it in the center just so it could blend well and you won't see any harsh lines. And I just blend. If I don't see any blend, go add white, peach, you know, just blending. It's all about the blend. And there's no perfect way of doing an ombre, trust me, there's so many ways. I'm gonna go ahead and apply it. Usually I'll do it like this. I apply a bead right here, and it should be a medium to not so wet bead. It shouldn't be runny and it shouldn't be too dry, so you're able to blend. And then I'm applying it closer to the cuticle area. Just be careful not to touch the cuticle or make it so runny, because then that causes lifting. Keep in mind that we are going to encapsulate this, so don't do the nails super thick, just as long as it is covered up and looking great. You see how I did a little bit more of a one bead method on this one? You can also do that. And then you could add as much as the peach as you need. Just keep in mind, encapsulation is next, so don't overdo it. I'm gonna be using this gold. I was supposed to use rose gold, but she wanted gold, so we go with what she wants, of course. So I am first gonna, this has a little bit of hexagons or chunkier glitter, and it was a little bit hard to blend or make it like an ombre fade. So I went ahead and removed the big chunks, and then I went ahead and added them after the fact, just so I can place them at my preference and to see how they look. And the same way goes to that. You see how I added another layer of acrylic, so don't apply too much, because then we will be encapsulating this one as well, so just be very careful with that. After I applied it on all nails, I go ahead and encapsulate all my nails and grab a bigger bead, not so runny, just make it a little medium to wet consistency just so you can drag it throughout the whole nail. And make sure the cover peach is well covered, because when you do file, you don't want the cover to be filed away. It's happened before to me and there's ways to fix it, but let's try and prevent that by making sure everything is covered. And I did speed this up just because it's the same process. And as I always do, shape the nail as I'm going, so it will become easier when I file. So when I file the nails, I make sure that I file the sidewalls first. The top of the nail, which it's the opposite side of the cuticle area, I focus on after, just because I like to file everything before that. That's like my last worry. And I'm using a medium carbide bit and it's a small one, and I love it. It blends the cuticle area very, very nice to your natural nail. Just be very careful to not burn your client and use the speed that you're comfortable with. Then I go ahead and file my nails with my hand file. A lot of people use the sanding band, which is fine, but I'm very used to just using my file. I just like to touch the nail and see if it's soft, and I'm just so used to it that that's what I do. And this is just basically evening out everything, the whole surface of the nail. Now I'm flipping the nail over because I find it easier for me to see that the nail is straight this way. If anything is different, then just make sure your client lets you know, but that's how I find it easier to file to a straight line. Not straight line, but file them straight. And then I look this way and I see if it's good and they're good to go. Then I'm gonna go ahead and buff lightly, just because we're just gonna be applying top coat on this, and you don't want it to be super soft so that it won't chip. I went ahead and had her wash her hands, and then I'm just cleaning with no swipe. And then I am going to be adding crystals and all these cute stuff. So striping tape is kind of hard when it comes to adding it to the nail. Make sure everything is straight, guys. Turn the nail over, make sure everything is aligned right, just because it makes the nail so much better that way. Trust me, your clients will appreciate you. I'm gonna be using the IBD beautiful, amazing glue that I freaking found out about just recently, thanks to my lovely friend Bridget, and I love it. It's amazing. I went ahead and did it on top of the tape because the tape does tend to lift sometimes, so I'm hoping that this didn't, it worked actually. I have my sister and she still has it on, but make sure that it isn't like coming off of the tip, because then that's when it starts to lift. And this is the glue. I did spray the glue with nail dryer, and I'll put everything in the description below, that way you guys know where I got it from. I got it from my nail supply store, but if you guys don't know, I'll put it somewhere where I find it. And as you guys can see in the bottom right, I already have my stones basically pretty much how I want them to be placed, so it can be easier. And then turn the nail around just to make sure they're straight, and I always spray after with the nail glue dryer. And this is the look before the top coat. I do clean the top of the crystals just with the alcohol, just so that it won't have anything like the glue dryer on there, just because I don't want anything to lift. And I'm not going over the nail stones. You can actually apply that glue on top of the top coat, but I like to just secure them extra when I do this, and I'm not going over the stones, so just be very careful. I did go over the metal studs, but that's okay. I'm not worried about those, but just go over everything nicely. And I'm using this gel that I love. Again, my friend Bridget recommended it to me and I love it. I will put everything in the description below, guys. This is amazing shine. I love it. Usually I use Glaze and Go, but now I'm using this one. And I'm looking to see if there's any imperfections, but they're good to go. And this is the final result, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this tutorial. Sorry for being gone for so long, but I am back. And thanks to my amazing clamp now that I purchased. I'll put everything in the description below again. And thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.